I'm Lea Lane, an award-winning travel writer and author of Places I Remember, Tales, Truths, Delights from 100 Countries. On this podcast, we share conversations with travelers about fascinating destinations and memorable experiences around the world. Today's guest is Ahmed Taoumi, former president of the Guide Association of Tangier. Welcome, Ahmed.
Thank you.
So we're going to be talking about gorgeous Morocco in North Africa. I think it's just one of those countries, and I've been around a lot, over 100 countries, but it's one of my very favorites. It's blessed with everything you can think of that makes a vacation special. It's got beautiful scenery and gorgeous cities and terrific food and lovely people and great shopping. So I want to hear more. You know all about it. I found when visiting there that there was a great feeling of tolerance for all religions and types of people. It was very evident to me. Let's talk about some of the beautiful cities of Morocco. The 4 imperial cities are Marrakech, Fez, Rabat, and Meknes. Is that correct?
Right.
What would you like? Which one would you like to start with? Which one should we talk about first?
My favorite is Marrakech, personally. I love Marrakech because it's one of the largest man-made oases in this Atlantic Morocco. Its situation is at the feet of the high Atlas mountain, and sometimes you see all the high Atlas, like sometimes with 12, 13,000 feet high, all covered with snow. And then you are in Marrakech, and you have 100,000 palm trees, all in green, and that combination of color is just amazing.
The Medina in Marrakech, the marketplace, is something else. I remember when I went there first, there was a snake charmer right next to a dentist, and I couldn't get over that.
That's in the square.
Yeah, open air,
square,
right?
You know, when you have restaurants well, that have changed a lot because today it's more organized. Anyway, Marrakech is the second imperial city of Morocco. It was founded in the 11th century by year 1008, 1009. But the first imperial cities in this country is Fez. Fez has different aspects, offers different things. It's an impressive city, mainly the Medina, the old city. And you know, when you walk with those 3,000 donkeys and mules carrying everything, for me, that's impressive because when you walk, you feel like you are walking in a middle-aged city, and it's not made up. It's real.
I read that it's the largest carless area. There are no cars, and it's the biggest space in the world for a major city. I know there were 2 magnificent schools within the Medina.
Oh yeah, the madrasa. But
yeah.
another thing is that the oldest university in the world is taking place in that old city.
It's beautiful. You can get lost very easily, though. You better have a buddy.
Oldest university in the world is situated in that city of Fez, that old city.
So tell me about Meknes. That's another ancient imperial city.
Yes, it's not very, very ancient.
The stables there of the horses of the Sultan.
All is from the 17th century.
Ah.
But you see, those buildings were affected a bit by the famous earthquake of Lisbon of 1755 that destroyed all that royal palace. Was established in the 17th century. Meknes was capital of Morocco from 1672 to 1727.
And the stables that you see of the Sultan are from the 17th?
The end of the 1600s.
1600s, yeah.
Right.
I know it's close by to Volubulus. I don't say that correct. Yes, the Roman ruins. Now, that's ancient.
That's right. Sorry, that's beautiful.
Impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's from the year 40 BC. And the one who is in love with mosaics has had to visit Volubulus because that's contains the most beautiful Roman mosaics ever. And when you go in there, you see even the chronology of the mosaic from black and white that started in the year 50 BC till 150 AD, when they start with polychromy, with colors, and then till 280 AD, 280 AD, that was the top time of the mosaic. After 280 AD, mosaics start declining.
One of the
But
things I loved about being there was the time I was there, at least, it wasn't that crowded. It was still
it's never
beautifully.
crowded.
Yeah, it's a very special feeling when you walk among the ancient
That's right.
ruins and you have no one around.
That's
Yeah.
that's right. It's never. It's almost, sometimes you go, you see groups, but it's not like crowded like Fez or like Marrakech. And so even with groups, it's not crowded. You see one or two groups, because they going back and forth, different destinations. Some are going to Fez, some are going to Rabat, some are going to Meknes, and that's it's never crowded. But it's beautiful. The only thing is the weather. If it is rainy,
Yeah.
if it is rainy, it won't be there. You wouldn't enjoy that much. But from February till October, that's nice. That's beautiful.
Okay, so Rabat is the another ancient city, but that's the
That
more modern capital. That's where the king lives. Is that correct?
that's right. It's the fourth imperial cities of this country.
Yes.
The last one. It has also. It's elegant, as you may have seen, with the beautiful monument like that mausoleum of Mohammed V, the ruins of that mosque, the twin sister of La Giralda Tower of Spain. That is from the 12th century. The casbah that received a lot of Moorish, that is also, it has beautiful casbah, that's also from the 12th century, but that is the last to become capital of this country.
Yes. I just want to mention several areas that are extraordinary. One is the desert, the Sahara. You can go and spend an overnight or two in one of the beautiful cities in the middle in the desert. And I will never forget my camel ride, my safari on, with the sunset and sunrise.
Yeah,
and
that was it.
shadows. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you have to cross departing from Fez. You can go either from Fez or from Marrakech. If you go from Fez, that's an easy way because you have to cross the high Atlas Mountains, get to the pre-desert first, where you have cities like El Rashidia, you have like that's Rose, city of roses, you have those beautiful gorges. Then you have the city of Ouarzazate. Then you go down a bit, 70 kilometers south of El Rashidia to a little city called Erfoud. But actually, it was from Erfoud when we used to pick up Land Rovers to go to the desert, to the sand dunes. It used to take us about an hour drive. Sometimes you can depart at 4 a.m. to see the sunset, the sunrise, and sometimes you can go at 4 p.m. To see the sunset. It's beautiful.
The shadows, absolutely beautiful. The colors of Morocco are beautiful. I want to just mention the city of Chefchaouen, which I went to specially. I flew there myself from Paris once just to see it because it's called the Blue City or the Blue Pearl, and it actually is blue and it's as beautiful as you hoped. It was well worth the trip, and I highly recommend it. It's a mountain village town in the Reef Mountains near Tangier, near your home.
Yeah.
And you can, if you go to Tangier, you can drive there in a couple of hours. It's magnificent.
That's right.
I don't want to leave that out.
2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. You are in Chaouen. It's situated in the extreme west of the Rift Mountains, and also the city a little higher up, but situated between two mountains. That gives, when you're far away and you see Chaouen, or it's normally Chef Chaouen, but actually we can call it, with the nickname, we can call it Chaouen, easy, So when you're far away and you see that little city all in blue, situated between two mountains, those two mountains looks like horns, a deer horns or a cow horns. So when those people that came from the Rift Mountains, far away from the east, they were crossing all the mountains, and before getting in there, they saw those two mountains like in the shape of a horn. They started saying to each other, Chef Chaouen. Chef means look. Chaouen means horns. Look at the horns.
Oh, really?
I
never heard that.
Yeah, that the explanation, the word Chef Chaouen. So it has also, it's beautiful. You see, it's pretty small with that beautiful blue. People are using that blue. They say it's against mosquitoes. Some others say that's in the summertime, which warms up a bit. It gives a little fresh air. It's cool color made out of cobalt mainly. That is like characteristic of that city, because that city receives a lot of Arabs, a lot of Jewish that were expulsed from Spain at the time of like a Reconquista, and a lot of them settled in there. But that city was built in the year 1471. Okay, so it would be like actually about 450 years old or something. And it was built on purpose higher up to protect that area from the Portuguese invasion.
Well,
Yeah.
right now it's an invasion of tourists because it's
Well,
so
I
pretty.
mean, they're most welcome. You know, I mean, they all most welcome. You know, see sometimes, but everybody's welcome. Is most welcome.
So the people from all these cultures, I think you see it very clearly in the architecture. One of the most beautiful aspects of Morocco is the magnificent variety of architecture. Can you tell me, well, first of all, about the casbah? That's the center of it, I think.
Okay. Well, casbah, you know, when people hear the word casbah, everyone has also a little different interpretation according to sometimes with Hollywood, you know, show it, you know, how it shows it. But normally, a casbah is a word in Berber language that means a fortified house. It's like castle, you know. You see those castles in France and United Kingdom and everything. But here we have castles, you know, in mud, you know, that have a square shape with four tower in each angle. And the castle, so people need to, like, you see, you don't see that like in Casablanca, Marrakech, Fez, and so you see that mainly in the pre-desert. At the very beginning, there was no, I mean, there was mainly tribe life, and people tried to fight against each other. And as a precaution, everyone or every family had to build the house, that's house in the shape of a little fortress with four towers to defend his own family, not the whole village. And it resulted the casbah, you know, the casbah, you know, became later on a fortified house. But now, only 500. The one of Marrakech is about 800 years. But the one of Tangier, Fez has no casbah. You know, Casablanca has a little tiny one, just a little part. Rabat has a casbah. So, like the one of Tangier 500 years ago, it became an army fortification.
But what about the places where you shop?
Call it Medina.
The Medina, the
Because
marketplace.
anywhere, anywhere you go in Morocco, you got two cities. You got modern cities you may have known when you went through the boulevard and all those big buildings and modern streets and so. And then you have the old city, a walled city. We call it Medina. But some of the cities have on top or in a higher place of the city, they build a fort to defend, to protect the city from any type of attack, from any type of invasion, or any attempt of an invasion. Like the one of Tangier, you were in Hotel Al Mukhtar, Dar Al Mukhtar, I remember. So next to the Casbah, you see how it overlooks all the Strait of Gibraltar to control all kind of sailing, because in case if there was any attempt of an invasion, they could see the boat from far away and they could get ready to defend their city from any type of invasion or any type of. And you may have noticed those old cannons on top of the walls, you know. But that Castle of Tangier was built on purpose against the Portuguese invasion.
Let me just ask you, we stayed, I've been to Morocco several times, and my favorite places to stay are Riads. Could you explain a Riad? Because I think many people, they hear the word and they're not sure if they would enjoy it. I thought it was a spectacular experience.
We have some stunning places or some stunning Riads. A Riad in the very old days was a residence of a high ranking or high society people, like those prime ministers or any governors or so. I mean, just people from high ranking or rich people, wealthy people. You have them in the old cities mainly. So they had the Riyadh that had to have an interior courtyard. See, because you may have noted that our ancient, our regional buildings have no balconies overlooking the streets. But you see, when you go to the inside, go to like the garden or to the courtyard, you see balconies overlooking the interior courtyard. So they were
Very
like
beautiful.
fancy, yeah, they were like fancy homes, homes for wealthy people. So with the time, with generations and generations, people started to buy those homes and convert them into riads, into like a bed and breakfast. But they call them riad as like a home of someone important, someone rich, of the very old days.
Yes, it's very wonderful. And you get to taste very often, they'll serve traditional foods. What are some, I mean, my favorites are tagines. Could you explain the tradition of tagine?
Tagine is a stew that has a conical cover, and but normally a lot of people cook normally in their kitchen. But when they serve it in that tagine. Except if you go to villages, if you go to real authentic places, where they put all the like the sauce and the meat and potatoes and vegetables and everything on that stew, and they put it on charcoal. But
Ah,
when it cooks, it cooks slowly. So when it's ready, it's more, how can I? It's more tasty,
yeah. I went to one
Uh,
restaurant where I had a bistilla. Bistilla, am I pronouncing that
Oh,
right? That's with,
that's
is
the
it with
best. Yeah,
pigeon and couscous and all kinds of
that's
delicious?
right. Pastilla or pigeon. That's one of the treats we have in
Yeah.
here, and it's originally from Cordoba, from Spain. When Andalusia were Arab, that's where it was created. Pastilla. It comes like from pastilla, which means pastilla or pastilla in Spanish means a pill, like medication. Because it's round.
Ah, it's a pretty
It's a
pill. It's
round.
a good pill.
That's right. That's why you call it pastilla. But today, they're more creative. They make pastillas with fish. That's very, very, very delicious. That's one of the top. And it's a treat. So not everybody makes pastilla every day home. It's like they use it as a treat, like in weddings and if it is any a special day, any celebration day or something.
So I know when people go to Morocco, they come back with the most beautiful things. I brought back a brass lamp and it puts beautiful light on the ceiling and a rug. And what else? We have tile, leather.
We have ceramics. Okay,
Yes.
ceramics. There are three cities where the ceramics is the finest. You have the city called Safi, city called Saleh, right next to Rabat, the capital, and you have the city of Fez. These are the best cities where you can get one of the best ceramics. And it depends on the color that they use. Like the Fez is considered as the bluest favorite, very, very fine ceramics, plus the embroidery, the horse saddles. They work
The
the wood.
tannery. I remember in Fez, there was a huge tannery where it
Oh,
didn't smell very good, but it was
yeah, no.
extremely the beautiful products.
It's very hard work when you work the leather, the thread. I mean, the fleeces, when they just take the fleeces from animals, and so they put them in there through a process. Then they have to take them off and take them outside to the open air and dry them. But with that, they make like slippers. They make those, if you remember, those handbags, but it's not names. No,
No,
not
not Louis
no,
Vuitton. No,
that's right. Just traditional ones,
but
That's
pretty.
nice. Yeah, they're pretty. They good. Then
Yeah, the
what
beautiful
else?
stuff.
Yeah, well, it's very diversified because a lot of people are still doing handworks, which is very, very important till today. And it's an heritage. It's an heritage from the very, very old days. And I think Morocco and then in North Africa is the only one that's top hand workers that we have. You may have seen like how when they do the decoration, like the plaster or the stucco or the mosaics on buildings. So when they work those beautiful doors, those cedar doors, windows, and everything. So that's an old heritage, and it's I must say that it is a Jewish and Arab handwork. It's an heritage from the Jewish that we have in here because I mean, they're Moroccan and they were born here and they made a lot. They helped a lot in developing the handwork, hand labor.
Let me ask you in terms of shopping, do you have any tips on bargaining? A lot of people don't know how to do that in
Yeah,
Morocco.
today it depends. It depends because with internet that's helped a lot and people know better. We're not like in the old days. People today are a bit careful. They don't want to have like any kind to avoid. They want to avoid problems or think with people. And normally the bargaining, I like personally, I'm talking about me personally as a guy. I would never accept that from anybody. I would never take anyone anywhere because I know places how people deal. They can get like 20%, 25%, even 30% sometimes. But I don't like to play with that.
I'd like to ask you, well, let me ask you, Ahmed, title is Places I Remember. So what would be a memory you have? You have so many of Morocco. What's one thing you would like to remember with us?
Okay, I've been doing round trips to the country for 25 years. So I know the country perfectly. I had so many anecdotes and so many little stories and so, but the one that's marked me a lot, and I still can never forget, is one day I was with the couple that have a little young boy, 9, 10 years old. He was a bit spoiled. And when once we were touring the outskirts and so, and then I told him, okay, do you want to see the camels? He said, yes, I would love to. So we stopped at the camels. It was by the month of April. In March, the females camels start giving birth. Okay, so we stopped in there. He rode, and they were taking pictures and so. And he saw a little cute baby camel, and he was starting to cry, and he started to say, I want to take this camel with me, little baby camel. It took me about 3 hours to convince him that camel cannot be taken into the plane. It took me about 3 hours to convince that little boy. He was crying. He said he's not moving from there. He want to take that camel with him. Mainly take the camel with him to baby camel with him to United States. So how are you gonna convince him that you cannot take that in the plane? Took me about 3 hours, and he was so cute at the end, when he was convinced, but he was convinced, and he was looking at me, all the rest of the tour, he was looking at me like, I'm not happy with you because you didn't let me take that camel.
I guess that's a shopping spree we won't have. There's enough to shop, right?
All right. You know what? The best thing to do is to give free time to people.
Yeah.
That's what I do normally, because my tours are mainly educational, and historical. And at the end of the tour, I may ask them, whether you want to have some free time, or you want to sit down for a coffee, or enjoy a mint tea. When you let people walk by themselves, they're free. It's better.
Right. I just think, I'll say it again. I think Morocco is one of the great destinations of the world. And I thank you so very much for sharing your information with us today.
You're very welcome, and you're most welcome anytime.
Thank you. If you do have any questions about Morocco or of any episodes, you can contact me at placesiremember.lealane.com.
Thank you. I will.
Thanks for listening to our award-winning podcast. We've recorded over 100 episodes of Places I Remember, so follow us on any podcast app. And new monthly episodes are also on YouTube with gorgeous video. My book, Places I Remember, is available in print and Kindle, and I read the audio version. Follow my travel writing at Forbes.com. Contact me at the links in the show notes or on my website, placesiremember.lealane.com, and keep making your own travel memories.